Cheers! Hi everyone, I'm Jessie Van Amberg, and normally I'm the Senior Food and Health Editor at Well+Good. But today I'm here hanging out in the kitchen as part of our new series, Cook With Us. I'm so excited to be here with you, Lukas Volger. So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Lukas. I am a cook and a cookbook writer and an editor and very enthusiastic about vegetables.
There's so few of us these days.
Right.
So Lukas, I'm so excited that you're here. As you know, we invited you because we had a little bit of a challenge. What we want for you to do today is to make a vegan French classic in 30 minutes or less.
Okay, I think I can do it.
I'm personally a little bit nervous. I cannot imagine French food without butter and cream and cheese and all of that stuff, so I'm really curious to see what are you gonna be making today?
Well, today I'm gonna make a beet bourguignon.
Instead of a beef bourguignon?
Yeah, and there's a lot of popular vegetarian versions of this using mushrooms instead of so like a mushroom bourguignon. Here we're using mushrooms because they have that wonderful flavor, but we're also gonna make beet sort of be the stand-in for the beef. We're also gonna throw some lentils in there for a little earthy flavor, but you know what? I think we should just start cooking.
Okay, I'm excited. Let's get down to it.
So the first thing we're gonna do is, we're using some porcini mushrooms, the dried mushrooms, and this is like one of those really elegant, it's kind of like the money ingredient in the dish. So let's just put those in a bowl here.
Okay.
And we're gonna cover them with about 2 cups of just boiled water. Next thing we're gonna do is cook the beets. We're just using 2 medium-sized beets. These ones are a little bit smaller here. We only need the beetroot. We don't need the greens, but you should save these and put them in stock or clean them and cook them down in a stir fry.
Okay.
You can just cut them really thinly and use them in a raw green salad, which would be really nice as well. We need to peel these before we cook them. Be careful that your hands are gonna turn purple, but it's worth it because you get to eat beet bourguignon. So we want to chop these into like cubes about 3/4 of an inch in size. So let's cut that in thirds there. Put about 1.5 cups of water in the saucepan here. And then we've got those cubed beets.
We have some pre-made ones here too.
Pre-cubed. Just adding them to the pan with a good little pinch of salt. In the finished dish, if they're like mushy, it just kind of like mushes into the sauce. So you want to be careful not to overcook the beets.
Totally.
And then the next thing to do is we're gonna sear our crimini mushrooms. So very simple, just a splash of olive oil in a skillet. We're gonna spread the mushrooms out in a single layer and then cook them for about 10-12 minutes without stirring too much so that they take on some caramelization and some blistering and some color.
Yum.
We've got 3 pots on the stove right now, which I know is not ideal for most people cooking at home. Nobody likes to clean a bunch of dishes at the end of the night. So because this challenge is a 30-minute or less challenge, that's what's going on. If I'm making this at home, I will just use the same pot to cook the beets, then I'll transfer them to a plate, then I will use the pot to cook the mushrooms and then transfer them to the plate, and then when we carry on with the rest of the dish, it'll go straight into this pot. So it could be a 1-pot beet bourguignon, but then it'll take you like an hour. Okay, so in this main pot, we're gonna cook down some carrots, celery, and onion. And this is, you know, classic mirepoix. This is in every recipe for beef bourguignon you'll probably ever find. This is the holy trinity of a lot of Western cooking, especially French cooking. So we've got like 1/2 of a medium onion, we've got just 1 carrot, and then 2 stalks of celery that are diced. If I actually really like blitzing these in a food processor to grind them down. That will save you some time if you're not super comfortable with a knife. And the vegetables, when they're finely chopped like that, they actually help thicken the sauce in a nice way, so speedy trick.
Totally.
Got our carrots, some celery, and then some onion. We're gonna add about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then some bay leaves. We're just cooking these down until they begin to soften. It's like 5 minutes or so. I think these mushrooms,
those look beautiful.
they look really nice and seared. I'm gonna turn that off. I've always really liked mushrooms. I love them raw, I love them cooked. I have a whole chapter in my new cookbook about mushrooms.
Oh, really?
And like one of my weeknight hacks is to roast off a couple of sheet pans full of ripped mushrooms, just olive oil, salt, pepper, roast them in the oven, and then leave them in quart containers or Tupperware in the fridge. I think throw them on a sandwich, throw them in a quesadilla, throw them in a salad.
Oh
it's
yeah,
like
they're just
ready
like
to go.
there and
Yeah.
you can cook them.
So these are perfect. They're like just, you know, they're not like so soft that you could like squish them with your finger.
They still have some like structural
yeah,
integrity.
and then that's what's gonna give the finished dish some really nice texture. This is, I mean, the beet's pulling a lot of weight in the beef bourguignon.
Yeah,
Okay,
beautiful.
so I'm gonna set those aside and take them off the heat. And these, the vegetables here are looking good to go. I'm just gonna add a good squirt of tomato paste because it adds that like umami depth. These mushrooms I think are about, yep, they're looking good. Now we're just gonna strain out these porcini here. And this could be messy, but we're gonna live on the edge here. Definitely want to save that liquid because it's really nice and flavorful. Just give these a nice coarse chop and add them to the pan. We're also gonna add 2 cloves of garlic that have been nicely minced. And then we are going to add some lentils here. So this is just a 1/4 cup of lentils. It's not a crazy amount. All it does, it adds a little bit of protein. It adds a little earthy flavor. So you can add them to the pan, stir that around. Okay, and then to the lentils here, we're just gonna add a tablespoon of flour. So this is just all-purpose flour. You can certainly leave it out if you want this to be gluten-free. You can also use like glutinous rice flour. Then we are going with 1.5 cups of that reserved porcini mushroom liquid. And we need a cup of wine. So this is a
fun part.
This is what makes the dish legit, is that it's a wine from the Burgundy region of France. You want one that is less fruity and more sort of like earthy and dry, I think.
Okay.
So just 1 cup of wine.
I really like seeing the wine going into like a pitcher looking thing.
Yeah, right. Add that to the pot. And then lastly, just a little bit of vegetarian bouillon base. So this is a brand that I really like better than bouillon.
I use that too. I love that stuff.
You don't need very much of the bouillon here. I'm just using like a 1/2 teaspoon, and it just helps to add a little bit of depth. So stir that in.
Okay.
We can cover this and cook for about 15 minutes until the lentils have absorbed some of the liquid and,
that's nice.
and are cooked.
Should we have a glass of wine while we wait?
Yeah, why not? I'm always game.
Okay. Yeah, so we've been hanging out and having wine for like 15 minutes. Should we see if it's done yet?
Yep, let's do. 15 to 18 minutes till the lentils are cooked.
Oh,
Looks nice and,
I wish you guys
and
could smell
rich.
it.
We've got the lentils, the carrots, onions, celery, those little pieces of porcini mushroom in there. We just need to add these crimini mushrooms, which we cooked. Stir those in. And then we've got the beets.
I had almost forgotten about those because
I
they've
know,
just
right?
been hanging out over there.
And then there's a little bit of liquid in there, and I'm just gonna go ahead and add the liquid to that. It's additional, some additional beet flavor. Lastly, we're just gonna season this with some freshly ground pepper, more perhaps than you might normally, so that you really do taste it. So we're just gonna let that hang out for another couple minutes, bring the liquid back to a nice simmer, and then we'll be ready to eat. This is looking good. So we've got here, this is some cooked brown rice. I think rice is actually really nice with this beef bourguignon. You could also use polenta or mashed potatoes. Or if you wanted to go in a super veg direction, do some like cauliflower rice or something like that. Okay, so the rice is hot. Just gonna spoon a nice hearty serving for you.
That looks so pretty.
And then we'll just finish with a little bit of chopped parsley, break up that red a little bit.
That is stunning. That looks so beautiful.
And there you go.
Yay, I'm so excited to try it. Ooh, I really like this.
It's good? Okay, good.
I'm very pleasantly surprised. We challenged you to make a vegan version of a French classic in 30 minutes or less. Overall, I'm really blown away by this. I was very nervous that you could make anything legitimately taste French and delicious without kind of the core like butter and cream and all of that stuff. And you really delivered on flavor, so we'll go there first. I think you get full marks for flavor. There's a nice balance of things in here. The beets add a little bit of earthiness, same with the lentils. I think you get full marks for creativity as well, because I would have never, ever, ever thought in a million years to touch a boeuf bourguignon and change it, much less to have a beet in there instead of beef or mushrooms or anything else. And then in terms of nutrition, I'm really impressed with all of the vegetables that are in here. There's a great mix of phytonutrients and antioxidants from the beets. In terms of ease, I would say this is like an 8 out of 10. Like really high marks. You were able to make it all basically in 30 minutes, which was really impressive. But it's the tricky thing of like, it could be one pot, it would take longer versus it would take less time and you have 3 pots. So I think it's just like a trade-off that a home chef just should keep in mind. Well, we're gonna continue eating this, so we're gonna say goodbye for now. I'm gonna give you back, you've earned this, my friend.
Thank you very much, cheers.
Cheers, thank you. So thank you all so much for joining us. It's been so much fun. And if you like what you see, please subscribe to Well+Good on YouTube right now.
And if you make this recipe, please comment and let us know what you think and how it goes. Or if you have any questions, we'll be keeping an eye on the comments and happy to help you out however we can.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.